This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
Feed me, meow, meow, meow.
Because of this podcast, I'm a gay icon.
I'm so hot. I'm so good looking. My salad dressing is amazing.
Like the internet at large, there are things you can do on the internet besides porn, but most of it's porn.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
Mercury in retrograde is in full swing.
Oh, is it?
You know that
Didn't even know this.
Yes. No, Mercury in retrograde starts this week.
Oh, okay.
So I went to go, we went to do this podcast, and my internet, my neighborhood is having an internet outage for like an hour or so.
Ugh.
So I am on my phone.
There's been internet issues in South Jersey as well, but part of that is because of fires. So they had to, at one point they had to shut off the grid or switch the grid or something was going on.
Ow.
I don't know. I'm not a gridologist. I'll tell you, I'm exhausted today because I performed a show in an old age home today.
Oh, what did you do? Comedy? Or what did you do?
I did a murder mystery show.
Oh.
Did that. But I've been watching The Voice, and they had on Sting, and he was saying that, you're exhausted backstage, but then you go on stage and you have energy. So give me that Sting energy.
When you are performing at a nursing home, how do the audience members at a nursing home feel about a show centered around the entire conceit of somebody's dying?
That was something that I was thinking about, because we do some jokes about people, because there's one point in the show I play a comedic doctor. Okay. So there's like these hokey jokes about somebody doesn't have a pulse or things like that. And I was thinking, well, this could be real.
They're like, that's Tuesday.
They might not think this might be hitting a little too close to home over here, but yeah, it was a different kind of experience.
Did they enjoy it?
I think so. Yeah, we had one woman came backstage, which was a kitchen.
Oh,
and she said that she loved it. She had a great time.
Was she trying to throw her cat at you, Kurt?
What, a cat?
I mean, the figurative sense.
Oh, I don't know about that. No, I think there are no cats allowed. It was predominantly women, though, that attended the show.
You should get some numbers.
Oh, Kurt, you have a new fan base.
Well, it's not just me. It's the whole show. It's a whole cast. I've done shows this year. It's restaurants. It's American Legions. I did a show on a train where the backstage of the train before going on the scene was in between the two moving trains.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know how safe that is.
That's not
That's
safe.
what I had to do.
Maybe these are just ways of staging actual murders.
Right.
That's what it sounds like.
If somebody gets murdered in a nursing home, could you easily pass that off as they passed away in their sleep?
Yeah.
No, because Elsbeth would solve the crime.
Wow.
You'd have to call Elsbeth in.
Kurt and I were discussing before we started recording your love of CBS shows now. You've become our parents.
Matlock. Elsbeth.
Oh, there's a new show on NBC with David Alan Grier. It's just like The Office. But it's in a hospital.
It looks good. It premieres tonight as we record.
Yeah, I was watching some of that. Yeah.
For my Elsbeth liking, I blame Virgin Airlines because I just got back from London, and on my way to England, they had an entire season of Elsbeth. And so I watched half of the season on the way to England, and then I watched half of the season on the way back. So I watched a full season of Elsbeth on the plane.
Did you watch The Good Wife or The Good Fight?
I am now.
Okay, because it was a spin-off of at least one of those, maybe from the original.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you've seen me on that show. I was an extra on that show.
So I have Paramount Plus. And so what Paramount Plus does is, so they have Elsbeth, and then they have, these are episodes that Elsbeth guested on The Good Wife and The Good Fight.
Oh, okay, yeah. I knew that she was from the Good Wife cinematic universe.
Right.
Cinematic.
Yes.
As am I. Remember,
Yeah.
I was as an extra on both The Good Wife and The Good Fight. In fact, I am one of the lawyers who is like part of the company. I'm part of. I can vote who is.
Oh, you're on the
lawyer
board.
there. I was on the board. I was on the board. Yeah.
Look at
Something
you.
like that. I was one of the lawyers who has a vested interest.
Well, you know who else has a vested interest? Kurt, do you have any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Okay, this is from the news.com.pk. All right, so Khloe Kardashian takes a subtle dig at Blac Chyna after Dream's birthday.
How dare she?
Well, Khloe Kardashian threw a lavish football-themed birthday party for her niece Dream. The Keeping Up with the Kardashian star went all out to make her niece's big day memorable, as she shared on her Instagram stories and posts. However, following the birthday spam, that's what it says here, the birthday spam, the 40-year-old shared a quote on her story, which fans speculate to be aimed at her niece's mom, Blac Chyna. It is scary how well people pretend, read the quote with some eyeball emojis. One such fan wrote on Reddit, really hope this is no dig at Blac Chyna. Timing is just not the best. Why post this after Dream's birthday stories? Another added, I was about to say the timing is giving Blac Chyna especially right after her child's birthday. I think I read that wrong. All right. A third was almost convinced. I'm sure it is. Khloe is all about light and forgiveness, but only to trash can and men. Now, that sounds weird, but I read that. That's what it says in two sources. I don't know why it says that. All right. And then they say women get no grace whatsoever from her, especially Blac Chyna. This comes after Khloe was criticized for making her niece Dream's birthday all about her. Social media users noted that the socialite, by the way, if you're called a socialite, of course you're making things all about you. Anyway, that the socialite had shared more snaps of herself and her kids in the birthday carousel than the birthday girl. One comment on her post said, looks like Khloe is celebrating Khloe. While another chimed in, you see more of Khloe and her kids than Dream. It is not her birthday. Just saying. Khloe Kardashian's brother, Robert Kardashian, co-parents Dream with Blac Chyna. I say that like it's the end of like it's a medicine commercial.
Yeah.
Please do not take this. Please do not take this medication while suffering from diarrhea. It may result in insomnia. Okay, well that's it, man. That's the big news. That's actually listed in a couple news sources right now.
Oh.
So Khloe, I guess it's more Khloe news than it's
Blac Chyna news.
I'm assuming that's something that's going to end up on the Kardashian show. And as I was hearing that story, I was like, okay, maybe I am ready to start hearing political news again, so I don't have to hear that.
But I don't know. I don't watch the Kardashians. Do they talk about Blac Chyna?
I don't. You think I'm watching that?
I don't know if they're talking about Blac Chyna, but they're probably showing her Khloe throwing a party for Dream.
Right.
Oh yeah, they might do that.
Right.
Blac Chyna's out. Les, how was your experience in the UK?
I had a blast. I loved it. I had a lot of fun. My show did very well. I just found out that I've been invited back in February, so I'm going to go back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was. I shared my dressing room half of the time with a group from Japan called Gumball, and the other half of the time with a Swedish drag show.
What does a Swedish drag show look like? Are they using meatballs as their boobs?
Well, I saw a picture of you with a white person. I mean, well, not white. I mean, they were painted white. Like
oh yeah,
were,
that was the Japanese group called Gumbo.
Right.
And yeah, they had like a comedy. It was really funny.
Okay.
So no, I had a great time. I went to the West End on my way home, and I saw The Devil Wears Prada with Vanessa Williams. That was very good as well. So yeah, it looks like I'm going to be doing more performing in the UK.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Congrats.
And so this summer, I'm setting up a Scandinavian tour. So I'm going to tour Scandinavia and then end up back in the UK again. So yes. And
That's
I've been jet lagged as hell since I've been back.
That's fun to share a dressing room, but I remember doing Indie Fringe where I was sharing a dressing room with some of the show, and I came downstairs. You know, it's a pretty large room, and this guy sees me and goes, "Oh, are you playing my part?" I was like, "Oh, we're sharing a dressing room, dude. There's 2 theaters here."
So we got upset.
Like he seemed annoyed.
Like,
anyway.
Right. Well, let's talk about this movie.
Let's do it.
Co-ed Call Girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Originally aired
Tori
on
Spelling.
CBS in 1996. This is back in that time when all of the stars of like 90210 and Melrose Place were getting TV movies as a way of showing they had more range than just playing teenagers.
Right.
Oh
And
yeah,
so-
this shows a lot of range.
So and then when they stopped doing that, Lifetime was starting to grow. So Lifetime would buy the rights to all these TV movies starring these young stars, and they would just air them incessantly. So people think this is a Lifetime movie, but it was actually originally CBS.
I
gotta tell you,
I rarely choose the movies, but I found this. I thought this would be good stress relief.
It was.
I gotta tell you, this movie was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was so dumb and so bad, but I enjoyed it.
It was so dumb. It was so dumb.
There were
Yeah, it's a
moments
good-
where I
it's a good
laughed out
lesson.
loud because the dialogue just took a turn. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
Right?
Yeah, it's a good lesson for young women. If you're going to take an escort job, know what an escort is.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I
Other
liked
thing.
their practice for recruiting.
Yes, and
Yes.
boy, is she gullible. Maybe
Well,
that's
but-
what she wanted, though.
Just even getting her to the house. We'll get into it, but just getting her to the house was
There's
hilarious.
so much.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
And it all started from a prank phone call
yeah.
on a
Yeah.
landline.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'll tell you, that's why they just
This-
discontinued Landline.
This movie it feels very dated as you watch it. I didn't remember how much big hair had still kind of carried over like that far into the 90s.
Yeah, it was just shorter big hair.
Yeah. And maybe not quite as teased up, but still pretty big. And I was
Yes.
telling Kurt, there's a murder that happens in this movie, and they timestamped when the murder happened, and it was 10 days after I moved to LA.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
which means he is a suspect.
I could be. I was on
this movie was
90210.
like-
Oh, it gets even closer.
Yeah.
This movie was like good, soapy fun.
Oh, yeah.
What did
But
you do on
you know
that?
what?
Were you
She
in the
went,
peach
through,
pit?
she went through a lot in this movie. Like she went through a lot.
Yeah. No, I was a co-ed. I was when they were in the college years. I was in a classroom scene with Dylan, and I
nice.
forget the character's name, but it was played by Rebecca. Oh gosh.
Oh, Rebecca Gayheart?
Hey.
Rebecca Gayheart. Yeah.
Oh, Rebecca De
And
Mornay.
so it's like I knew she was going to be on the show before she was actually like known for being on the show.
Oh, okay. Was she the Noxema girl?
Yeah, and she's married to McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
Eric Dane.
McSteamy.
Eric Dane.
So
Dana Dane, would you please sit down?
we're in a college dorm. Everybody else is having fun except for Tori.
Yeah.
Well, why doesn't she live with her mom? That's what I don't understand. If she's so desperate for money, wouldn't it be just? And she doesn't have a life anyway.
You want to live with that, Mom?
I thought the mom was Tess Harper after I saw them. I was thinking, I thought that's who it was.
That mom was a
She looked like
drag.
her. You know the actress Tess Harper?
Yes. Yeah, and I can see why you thought that.
Yeah.
That mom was a drag.
The mom was a drag, but to Kurt's point of, she could have stayed there and saved money. It's like she was with the mom all the time anyway, and the mom was involved in every aspect of her life, and it seems like the house was close to her campus, so why not?
Yeah.
Because she wanted to be with her friends.
But she never spent any time with them. She was
asleep.
The beginning of the movie, before she's a call girl, she's like always got her nose in a book studying, and then once she becomes a call girl, she's never at home.
Well, she's busy fighting for her life.
Well, there is that.
Well, poor Tori. We were just reading that poor Tori herself has some financial issues, and she wasn't learning good financial things in doing these movies.
And her mom did warn her in this movie.
Yes, her mom did.
In my favorite scene of the movie when we get to it.
All right.
So they're in the dorms. She's broke. Her friends are always like talking about having fun. Like they're planning a trip or something, and they're like, "Well, hey, why don't you come too?" And it was only going to be like $200 or something.
Well,
30 years
people,
ago,
that's a lot of money. Yeah, and that's a lot of money if you're, if you don't have any money.
Yeah.
But they invited her. Her friends were at least nice and continued to invite her to stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, they invited her, and she's like, "No, I work for a living. My mom needs me." And her mom ran a bakery.
Mm-hmm. It felt very Lifetime. I mean, a Hallmark.
No, it really did.
If that detail felt very, very Hallmark.
Now, did you guys have trouble taking notes?
No.
I kind of had trouble taking notes because so much was going on.
Oh, I always pause it when I need to type something.
Not really. I feel like I took notes in a different way though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna describe this.
So her mom. I wrote here. Her mom runs a bakery. I wrote her mom is a bitch. Like her mom, like she shows up at the bakery, and her mom's like, "Don't slouch."
I don't think her mom's that bad.
I think there may have been a version of the script where their mom was more of an actual monster, because again, getting a little ahead of myself, but my favorite scene of the movie, there is a line and a turn in the dialogue that comes out of nowhere. I had whiplash.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Not get ahead of ourselves with co-ed
So
call
then,
girl.
so she's working. So she's a student. She's also working at her mother's bakery. They don't have a lot of money. She's literally working her way through college. She wants to go to med school.
Yeah.
And so she's like literally working her way through college. And so she's back at the dorms, and her friends find out about this call girl agency, and they prank call it.
Yeah, because they saw an ad in like the LA Weekly or something that they were looking for escorts.
Right.
Paradise escort.
And so now, what was the event? There was an event that she was supposed to be going to, and her mom was supposed to be going with her.
Well, first of all,
like
at the bakery, Barry Watson from Seventh Heaven comes in. He's a TA named Jack Collins, and he's gonna.
So this is the kid with the long hair.
Yeah. Do you remember Seventh Heaven, Kurt? That show?
I never watched that.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you anything about that.
He was a big heartthrob. His dad was played by Stephen Collins, who I think is canceled. I think.
He's pedophile,
right?
He's very
pedophile.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, was that guy on Star Trek also, one of the Star Trek movies?
Jerry Ryan was.
He was on Star
who was Star Trek?
No, in the movies, Stephen Collins was on one of the movies.
Oh. One Star Trek movies. Okay.
Because the woman that plays Kimberly is from one of the Star Trek shows.
Yeah, Stephen Collins was in the second Star Trek movie.
All right. Was Treat Williams on that show, or is that another show?
That's Everwood. Similar kind of same. They were both WB shows. They were both playing the dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like supposed to be parents' weekend. Her mom
She's
doesn't
busy.
show
She's
up
bakery.
because she has to work.
Yeah.
Tori is upset, like she's disappointed, and she goes back to her dorm, and there's a phone call, and the call girl agency called back.
Yeah.
And the woman from the agency is like, "Hey, we're having a party. You want to come?"
Well, she didn't say yes, did she?
She wrote
She
the
didn't say
address. Well, first, she didn't even just hang up on them, knowing that her friends had pranked them. She takes down the address, and also they're inviting Tori sight unseen.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
That's very,
Like
that's very
Tori
bold.
could have been just an uggo, and they're like,
Right.
"Yeah, coming out, you're hired."
Right.
Well, I'm sure she'd have a nice personality. She'd make people laugh. She'd have inner beauty. Well, listen, they have nothing to lose. They probably have a whole bunch of ladies they're inviting over.
Yes, but they had
So-
clients at this party, and so if
true.
legitimately, if if this is an escort service, they're gonna want to put their best foot forward. And
High-end escort service at that.
yeah,
And the party was on PCH.
mm-hmm.
So that's not a slouchy party.
Yeah,
What's that?
the Pacific Coast
Pacific Coast
Highway.
But like,
Oh,
it's a high rent district, put it that way.
It's in Malibu.
Okay.
So Tori, I guess she's
goes.
sick of studying because she goes to the party
Yeah.
by
But wait,
herself.
I thought she had a lot of studying
She does.
and bakery work. How does she have time to go to this
She took a break.
I don't know.
situation?
They made such
She
a
took a
big
break.
deal out of how she could not carve out any time. And the one conceit of this movie is that she's just constantly going to these parties every night.
No, I don't believe you guys. I don't believe she showed up to this party because doesn't she realize that this is probably a dangerous situation? She has no idea who these people are.
No, because she doesn't even know what an
She's very
escort
busy.
is.
No, she's been sheltered, even though she grew up in Tarzana, as they say.
Right.
She's never left the state.
She
Tarzana.
grew up near the porn capital of California, Chatsworth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
Yes,
I have to
Chatsworth.
believe it. I saw
Chatsworth,
this.
Kurt, is like the home of porn. That's where all the porn movies are made.
Yeah.
So, and you know that Tarzana was named after Tarzan, right?
I did not know that.
It was actually.
Well, I once read the Jeep was named after the Jeep creature in Popeye.
I once went to
That's what
Tarzana for Botox.
Botox?
Yes.
Okay, so it's known for that too now.
Yes.
Stretching things out. All right, now I do
I
believe
see
she went to
you
the
do.
party because I saw this. All right, so please continue.
Okay.
So she goes to the party. The party's on the beach. The party was actually at that tennis club on the PCH.
Oh, yeah? The Jonathan Club, that one?
Yeah. The party looked fun, actually.
Oh, I disagree. I think it looked lame. There were like 10 people there,
looked-
and nobody looked like they were enjoying themselves.
Well,
Yeah, it was
the
kinda
girls were
strange.
working.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of strange. Like, where are the parameters of the party? Is this I guess, is it a public beach?
Like it's a private beach.
Oh, all right.
They were nice and you know and of course, you know, there was younger women but older men.
Yes.
And so like they meet her, they like her, you know, because she
Well, I
wasn't
like Kimberly. I like the woman who is nice to her there.
That's Jerry
Kimberly.
Ryan. That's the one that
oh,
was
that's
on
Jerry
one of
Ryan?
the Star Trek shows.
she was 7 of 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
she-
I like her.
She was on Boston Legal. She's done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I used to watch that. Well, a long time ago.
So she's meeting men, like older men, and 7 of 9 is really nice to her. Like she becomes like her call girlfriend, like her
Yeah.
kind of like her big sister, like, you know.
She's the Laura San Giacomo to Tori Spelling's Julia Roberts.
Yes, exactly. She's the Kit DeLuca.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is this from Pretty Woman?
Yeah.
Yes. DeLuca was in Pretty Woman.
Jesus, I gotta remember stuff it's decades and decades of stuff I have to.
And so, like, one of the old men is like,
these guys weren't that old.
Yeah, the first guy is maybe 8 years older than her.
Yeah.
But they're complimenting her and they're like flattering her and being nice to her.
Yeah.
And like she's talking to this one guy and he's like, you know what you want to do. You want to do medicine. I floundered. And then she goes into her tale. She says her dad died when she was 8.
I see dead people.
And I was like, there we go. There we go. Even back in the 90s, we had our tropes.
I think that this is probably around when that trope started of the someone having daddy issues.
That may have been the moment. Oh, and she definitely had daddy issues.
Yeah.
And then her mom was a famous cellist.
Yeah, that was a piece of information they dropped twice in this movie and did nothing with. And they even had a character and a scene in this movie where they could have done something with it.
Because that's what I was wondering. Like, so how did she end up at a bakery?
Yeah.
Yeah, she could have pursued playing the cello. I mean, opening a bakery is also pretty hard.
I bet she makes more money with the bakery than she would have as a cellist, though.
I guess
but
she's like fucking Yo-Yo Ma.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Because just my question is, how do you go? Like, how did she go from playing the cello to owning a bakery? Like, did she want was it a life change? Was it like, did she
did dad run the bakery and she had to take it over? Like that's literally a line of dialogue that they need to put in. That's it.
Like, was she a cellist and the dad a baker, and then when he died, she needed to keep it open?
Yeah.
That or what?
Look how fascinating this movie is. We're like expanding it.
Yeah.
Like we want to see a sequel.
I would watch this as a weekly series.
Oh, I totally would.
Like it's instead of like a lady detective case of the week, it's a trick of the week, and like what's their story.
I would totally watch that.
This movie could have its own weekly. This movie could have its own weekly podcast.
Yeah,
and this week we'll explain the cello career of the mother.
Mm-hmm.
With special guest Yo-Yo Ma.
Well, just the fact that she did mention it more than once, that, And not only she was a cellist, she was a famous cellist.
Did they say she was famous?
Yeah.
Well, all right. I don't know what happened then. This is really confusing to me.
So then, she's talking about, Kimberly was Jerry Ryan, 7 to 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so she's talking about how Kimberly's so pretty. And then they tell her, well, you could be like Kimberly too. And, she doesn't have a boyfriend. So she's pretty like bookish and innocent, adjacent.
Naive.
Yeah. And then
insecure.
And so the guy wants to go to dinner with her.
Andy.
Yeah. So she goes out to dinner with him, and she's still self-deprecating. I'm just a boring college student. And then they went. It was very 90s, so they went to like a 90s straight dance club.
Yeah, that music was a little weird.
Yeah. The music was bad.
And they're dancing, and it just turned out to be a nice evening.
I think it was because I was watching this on 1.25 speed on YouTube, but like when they went into the nightclub and because they had that fog machine, it just looked extra weird. It looked like they were trying to make you feel like you were on drugs, even though they weren't trying to imply that they were on drugs.
Yeah,
so what was your screen like? My screen looked kind of washed out. Did yours look kind of washed out?
Well, that's just because it was like a VHS to YouTube transfer.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't crisp.
No.
It wasn't the HD quality.
So at the end of the evening, he's they're saying their goodbyes, and he gives her $400.
No, that's not how it worked. So he gives her like a kiss on the hand, but then she goes back to the house, the pimpin' house.
The pimpin' house.
Yeah.
And the pimp guy, whose name is Ron, he gives her the $400, and she's like, "Well." And by the way, how much was this guy paying her?
500, I think.
So the house gets 100, and she gets 400.
That's a good deal.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 1,000.
Because that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably 1,000.
Well, no, but remember later the one guy was like, "I paid $500 for you."
Yeah, they have different rates depending on the person. Like, really, that's a flaw in the business model. Just have a rate card, and it's the same for everyone, so it's not confusing.
Well, that's not going to work.
But then
Different ladies would negotiate.
Well, no,
rates.
a rate card per prostitute. Like Tori's got her rates, and then Kimberly probably has hers.
Oh,
right. But Kimberly's more seasoned, so she probably makes more.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
been around
Yeah.
long.
I mean, she's like, above the title. Whereas Joanna, Tori, she's like, she might get like 5th billing.
Right.
okay. So it's 500 for Tori. I don't know. I'm just trying to think how they're making money off this, because then they're also renting a limo for her.
I don't think that's a rental.
okay.
I think they probably own that.
But
It'd be
paying
cheaper
the guy
to just have that guy in the payroll than outsource it.
Yeah.
All right.
But
You're gaming out their business model.
I'm thinking of starting an escort business. So,
Okay.
And then for her, for Tori, that was an easy. That's an easy $400.
Oh yeah, it is. But I'm just thinking. Okay. Yeah. I'll stop the business.
Not only did she like the guy, like she actually kind of liked him. He was nice to her. She had a good meal. She went dancing.
Hey,
And made $400.
What I did find dumb about this is that the guys that she had to go on these escort dates with that she actually found attractive, she didn't always get to sleep with them, but then she later has to sleep with some uggos. Like, she seemed to like this guy. She should have banged it out.
Yeah.
No, he just wanted to kiss her hand, and he had to be on his way. Did he have a plane to catch or something?
Something like that. But why?
No, I
why?
think it was a plane to catch.
If you're not ugly and you've got money and seem to have a personality, then why are you paying $1,000 for a call girl
that he wasn't even going to sleep with?
that seems that seems like a bad spend right there.
Well, it's hard to meet people. They didn't have
Unless
apps and stuff
$1,000
back
doesn't mean it. Like, unless you have so much money that $1,000 is nothing.
I guess it just seems like a bad investment.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so she does take the 400, but then she says, "Oh no, she has to decide whether she's going to continue with the hooking."
Right.
And she stands in the doorway for about 15 seconds, and then decides she said yes.
Well, I mean, come on. You get taken out to a nice dinner, you have drinks, you go dancing, you've spent no money, and you make $400.
And at this point, he's claiming that she doesn't have to have sex with the guys. It's her call, just like any other date
she wants
works.
You just hang out. You just hang out with a guy and you make $400.
But now we get to the time management. So now she has to go to school, she's got to work in the bakery, and she's got a hook.
Yeah.
I have time for all this. Never sleep.
But also, though, if you got a hook but you don't have to sleep with the guy, then it's just dinner you got to eat.
Oh no! It's like I understand at this point why her logic allows her to do this.
Okay, she makes the time.
Yeah, for $400 easy bucks. Yeah, of course. How many paychecks from the bakery would that be? Back then.
Oh, back then that's a week of work.
Yeah. In a night, and you get to wear outfits and drink champagne.
Yeah.
And dance.
And get driven home in a limo because there was no Uber back then.
True. Okay.
So is this when she gets her makeover?
Yeah. They tell her she's got a date with a doctor. Kimberly gives her the pager, and then they do a shopping and makeover montage set to some really bad music.
Yes.
I
But the
couldn't hear
actual
the music.
montage was pretty good without the music.
I watched on YouTube, and they silenced the music.
There was one.
muted.
There was one version of this on YouTube where like a big portion of sound cut out. So I found another version, and that seemed to have it. So.
Okay.
And they cut her hair because her hair was very big, but they gave her a call girl cut, like a bob.
Yeah.
And then I liked her call girl music because it was like the saxophone.
It was very Silk Stockings.
Yes. So then, and then back then I forgot about during the makeover, you had cucumber slices on your eyes, of course. Yeah.
It's tasty.
So now she's 95. She's like 90s. She's got like the wet. That was like when the makeup was kind of wet looking.
Yeah.
She had like a mini skirt, and the saxophone was going. So she was call girled up.
I have that she met an author.
Yeah.
She went to like a bookstore and she met an author.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't. It was one of the parties that they were working.
He was doing like he was signing books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, actually no, you're right. I think it was when they were doing the shopping and they see the author, and Kimberly just mentions that the guy is a client.
Right. And then since Tori is smart and can read, she's like, "Oh,
Les, what are you doing?"
What happened?
I was plugging in my
Muffled
phone.
sounds.
Yeah, you're like covering the microphone.
What did you do?
Oh, sorry."
Oh, that's better.
You're just
So
doing.
then-
It's just like you're in a rotating chair. You're just spinning around the room right now.
It's like the Disney World carousel of progress.
Yeah.
Except we're going backwards.
But then,
okay.
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, then she's in school,
Falling asleep,
and there's a professor talking about a doll's house.
and she's falling asleep in class.
What does the slam on the door mean? What does it
It
symbolize?
means that she's independent, right? That's what it was, right? Like she was independent.
She's slamming the door on her old life.
No, that's what the professor was asking in a doll's house.
Right, and
What does
that
the
was
slam
wasn't
on
that
the
what
door
she
mean?
said? Essentially,
yeah, that's what she
it was a
said.
slam.
It was her independence.
No, it was her independence. And then a guy. Now this is college. Apparently, people would pass each other notes in college. I thought that was like something people did when they were like fourth grade. But the guy with the long hair that was on Seventh
Barry
Heaven,
Watson.
he passes her a note. Barry.
But remember, this was before cell phones, so he couldn't text her.
Yeah.
You had to get a hold of her. Somehow.
And he didn't
it
know
was
she had a
like- and he-
pager.
Right.
And he wrote like a little box, and he said, "Check here if you want to go out with me." And there was another box. Check here if you don't.
Yeah.
And wasn't that back with pagers? Like that was back when if you had a pager, you were kind of doing something.
No, back then, because when I first moved to LA, it was before cell phones had taken off. But as an actor, you wanted to be reachable in case you had an audition, so you would have a pager for that.
Yeah.
I had MCI.
People still use pagers. They're used in hospitals.
Yeah. Because it's a more reliable way of contacting people than a phone.
Yeah, well, there's also like I don't think you could use cell phones in like a certain areas of the hospital, so they have to use a pager. My understanding.
Yeah.
So wasn't this during class? I like that when she became a call girl, to differentiate during her call girl time and her co-ed time, she'd wear glasses in her classes.
I didn't
Smart
notice
glasses.
that. That's funny.
She's like Angel. She gets a whole different event. Angel, right? Wasn't that like hooker by day?
Yeah.
Student
Oh my
by-
God. I remember Angel. Yes, Angel. She was a hooker by high school student by day, hooker by night.
This
by
is
night,
this is
yeah.
very
And
Hannah
that-
Montana.
Have you ever heard of this, Jason?
No.
The Angel movie?
No.
Angel, girl on the streets.
I'm gonna watch that now.
Is that her next movie?
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna stay up all night.
I'm surprised they haven't rebooted Angel. Like, I haven't remade it.
Man, let's do it. I'm like a rock star. I'm gonna just stay awake for a month. Just watch Angel movies. And all right, let's continue.
So this is when Tori's like flashing the cash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets home and she gives her mom. She's like, "Hey, mom, I got you a gift," and it's a scarf.
And this is when I wrote her mom is a bitch because she had something smart ass to say about the scarf.
Well, she went from "Thank you so much, I love it" to "Oh, you shouldn't be spending your money. You don't know what curveballs life will throw you." And then Tori, out of nowhere, goes, "Like your husband might die, you might have to raise your kid all alone. Don't worry, I won't be like you."
Damn.
I know, right? Things turned left quickly.
For like 5 minutes. It came out of fucking nowhere.
That's upsetting.
Obviously, it's been on her mind for a little while.
She certainly got it out.
Why the hell is she mad at her mom? The dad's the one that died. Mom's trying to keep a roof over your head, you dumb shit.
Right?
The mom didn't appreciate the scarf.
No.
Get someone a gift. They gotta appreciate it. Hey, you skip one part. Barry with the long hair. Get out of the car.
Yeah.
Get out of the car, long hair. Anyway, he says he's going to go to NYU or Columbia because New York City is raw and gritty. Hey, Barry, you better hurry up. The mid 90s, you think you have 6 months left of that.
That's funny.
They're about to open up the M&M store.
It's not gritty anymore.
No, I was there for that end.
Oh, I lived in New York when New York was New York.
I was too, but very briefly. When I moved there, it had about a year left of that. I had some guy in the late 80s. Some guy walked up to me in Times Square. He goes, "You're beautiful." I was like, "All right."
And that's when
they got rid of that guy.
Gay icon.
There was porn theaters. When I first moved there, the Jeff Galooly porn was playing in Times Square, like a giant theater.
Oh my God.
That's not around anymore. Woo. Back in the day.
So then I wrote, so what happened next? I just wrote hooker date.
Well, that was when you had your hooker date. You were writing your own little personal
She's at the Jonathan Club again, which they're doubling as the house, and she walks up, and Ron is complimenting her on her, I would call it problematic geisha look.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You couldn't do that today.
No,
it was a different time.
And so.
And then now she's on a date with that author.
Yeah.
Yes.
And or actually, I don't know if it's the author. I think it might be another guy that just happened to look like the author. But it's made out to be this like beautiful romantic scene while she finally gives it up.
Yes, she gave it.
Is that when they were shooting in the bathtub?
There's a bathtub, there's a bed, there's the saxophone playing, and it's like very soft and sensual. It's not like if you were actually fucking a hooker.
Right. Her mom was in the background playing the cello during the romantic lovemaking.
Family is very close.
So why was she walking around with big wads of cash in her purse?
Because that's how she got
paid. Well, they don't pay. They pay in cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do direct deposit on that.
But remember, Tori, you still have to pay. I took the H&R Black tax class. They still. I think I brought this up before.
Yeah.
You still have to pay taxes on even if it's illegal earnings.
Oh, even like call girls?
Yeah, because the IRS will. They just want to get their money. They're not gonna report you to the police, from what I understand.
So she's in the library, and her friend is kind of upset because she's not spending time with her anymore. She's always like, I'm busy.
Right.
And she is busy.
Yeah.
Getting busy. This
friend gets the shaft too. She really is not a crucial part of this movie.
No. So like,
ironic
her friend
that you would
asks-
choose those words in this movie.
What's that, crucial?
That the friend's not getting, or the friend is getting the shaft by not getting the shaft.
Oh, yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So like her friend needs some lip gloss.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, just go get some out of my purse." But she forgets that she has a big wad of cash in there, and the friend's all like, "What are you doing with all this cash? I thought you were broke."
But first, it looks like she found a Johnny. Am I correct on that?
No, she found a pager. She found the
Johnny.
pager and sort of like held it up
Johnny.
to the, like, she doesn't say anything to Joanna about it, but then after the pager, she finds the wad of cash.
Oh. Les, why were you aghast at a Johnny? That amused me. That's what I thought she found. I thought she found like a Johnny in like a Johnny holder.
Well, I actually don't know what a Johnny is.
Like a
A
rubber.
condom.
Oh, okay.
A prophylactic.
Oh,
But okay, that was a pager. No, I understand.
yeah.
So this is when, like, client wise, she starts going through her bossy bottom phase.
Mm.
Because a lot of these guys she gets hooked up with look like
have.
bossy bottom.
You thought the guys
What are
were
you
bossy
saying?
bottoms, or she
guys?
was?
No, the guy looked like a bossy bottom.
I thought
Well, how does
she
that work?
turned into a bossy bottom in this scene.
Well,
I don't-
explain.
Because she's on a date and some guy like first is like trying to nicely make the move on her to sleep with her at the end of their date, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta go," and then he gets more aggressive, he gets nasty. She like grabs her arm, and then she basically says like, "I don't have to sleep with you, I'm not going to do it," and she storms off.
And he says, "I paid $500 for you."
Yeah.
She said, well, you can get a refund.
And then it's like,
I
and
think that
that's
makes
when,
her
you
the
know-
bossy bottom in this scenario.
Oh, okay. And that's when she needed to be sat down and you go, "Tori, Joanna, you're a call girl," which means, girl, when they call you,
Gotta be the girl.
you gotta, you know.
Well, she was told that she wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. This does seem to violate her employment agreement.
Well, yeah. So she got fired, right?
Well, this is the thing. She's an employee, right? She's not is she an independent contractor?
I think
Well,
it's
you're the
well,
tax
yeah,
guy, Kurt. What's the
1099.
yeah? What kind of form
Well,
do
she
you think they're
probably
giving
would
her?
be.
This would seem like
You know, but
1099 work.
Yeah, they're paying her in cash too, though. But he's got a legit business though, as escort.
Yeah.
Probably is 1099. So
Yeah.
her as an independent contractor, maybe she can make her own rules. This is where it gets complicated.
Well, it also
Independent
gets
contractor working for someone.
yeah.
I have problems with this.
If you've ever done any independent contractor work, there's always like having to chase someone down to get paid too. Like they seem to have a pretty good arrangement where like they call, she accepts the work, they pay her right away. Like it's not even a net 30, it's like a net 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, they could pay her in cash, but then she has to be responsible for paying its taxes. For
Yeah.
this. Anyway. Okay.
So then this is when she goes back to the bakery, right? And she's not happy.
No, in the same moment after when he's fired her, she immediately apologizes. They hug, and then he calls the guy that she stormed off from and tells her that she's going to have to make it up to him even though it's 3 a.m. And when she's a little weird about it, he pulls a gun out. And then
Yeah,
Kimberly
that
gives her a
happens here?
drink and tells her that society is dictating how she feels about sex. And she should just go have fun and pretend it's Brad Pitt.
That's what Kimberly says.
Yeah.
She says that she just pretends the guys are Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then she's back at the bakery. And her mom is like now like asking questions and joking around. Asking her if she has another guy on the side. Yeah.
Well, because this is before cell phones, so Barry from Seventh Heaven is calling, he's got to call the bakery.
Yeah.
To talk to her.
And wants to go on a date. She's like, I can't do that, but, and I quote, let's meet at the playground across the street from the bakery. Not the park, the playground.
Playground.
Hey, we are 2 college students. Let's go hang out on the jungle gym.
But this was her attempt to be wholesome as her life fell into despair.
She could have been wholesome by saying, meet me at the park. It just, the specificity of it being the playground is what I found weird.
Right. And then, so this is where he passed his test, right?
Yeah.
And so they're having a moment.
He passed a test?
Yeah, I think the LSATs maybe. He's in the top 3 percentile.
Oh, okay.
So he's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here I am. I see this in my notes. The top.
But their pager goes off and ruins the moment.
Their moment of making out on a playground.
Yes.
Were there kids around?
Yes.
It's a playground.
Maybe it was during a school day, like school hours. Not a playground like associated with a school.
Well, I mean, a playground is always for like the littler kid. That's why I think it's weird. I'm not saying like it's weird to be in a park. I'm saying it's weird specifically as 2 college students to be like, let's be on the playground.
Right.
Like I hear playground, I think seesaws, swings, slides, jungle gym.
And by the way, I had the wrong bossy bottom. The bossy bottom actually is coming up.
I don't understand.
I want to see that Lifetime movie.
And I think the word
the wrong bossy bottom.
Right.
I don't understand how you're making these people bossy.
You'll see when we get to that part. You'll see.
He's not making the bossy bottoms. They will show you how bossy they are as they bottom.
Not me, but I just don't understand how you're saying these people are bossy bottoms.
When we get to the part, All
right, okay.
Because then she goes to another job, and she's at a hotel, and her professor sees her.
Mm-hmm.
And calls her, and he's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "Oh, I was at a wedding at the second floor." And he's like, "Oh, I was at that wedding too. I didn't see you."
I thought for sure we were gonna find out that her professor was one of her clients.
I did too. I totally did too.
He was not, by the way. Spoiler.
Nah.
So so she had to kind of slink away though without getting caught because. You know, that was like a close call for her.
He was on to her.
So then her friend who's getting the shaft is like telling her, you know, what's up with you? You're not yourself. You go out every night now. I never see you. What's going on? So she kind of wiggles out of that too. Then she's talking to 709, 7 of 9.
No, not yet.
Trek character?
Yeah, Star Trek.
What happened next?
But no, first, Joanna and Jack, Tori and Barry are doing something that I genuinely hate when I see in movies and TV shows. And that is they're just sitting on the hood of the car having a romantic conversation. I don't know anybody that's ever done that in real life. Every time I see it in a movie and TV show, I'm like, that would be warm or cold, and you'd be worried about like scratching and denting your car. Why do you need to get up there?
Get off the hood of my car.
No sense.
So romantic.
Like, get off my car.
I just needed to vent about that. It's so dumb when I see it.
Yeah, the car's usually dirty.
Yeah.
And speaking of dirty, she asks, "Do you ever feel dirty?"
Yeah.
Because she's starting to feel dirty.
She asked Kimberly that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kimberly gives her some fuck me shoes.
Right.
I thought Tori looked like the Joker, you know, Batman's Joker at this point, or the way they made her up. We may have to share an image.
Her
The
makeup
Joker.
was getting more extreme as the movie went along. And did you?
Because she's becoming more professional.
I don't know if this was a deliberate choice or not, but it did feel like early in the movie, her outfit seemed a little more sophisticated, which I would think would make more sense as an escort. Whereas, like further in the movie, her outfit was more like trashy whore.
Yeah.
Now she goes to see the maestro.
That's the bossy bottom.
Yeah.
That's the bossy bottom. He
He's
was the bossy
also
bottom.
like, this would have been a fan fucking tastic way of tying in the fact that the mom was a famous cellist.
Yes.
Because she's sent to go meet this like famous conductor, and he gets off stage. And first he's like bossing her where to stand and at what angle to stand in the room, because then he tells her that he wants to play the piano while she strips.
Right. And that's who I wrote. That's what I wrote. Bossy bottom.
What's
No, was he supposed to be Leonard Bernstein? Is that who that was supposed to be?
I bet Bernstein's a bossy bottom.
He's a bossy bottom?
Yeah.
So maybe.
Because
No,
he
I don't
wasn't even
know.
like nice to her. He was very mean to her.
Wow. It was definitely unusual.
Listeners, do us a favor and just chime in on Threads or Instagram and let us know if you think Leonard Bernstein is a bossy bottom.
So now,
Bradley Cooper, if you're listening, weigh in. But no, I don't understand. So, okay, he's a bossy bottom. I'm just going to have to go along with it.
Yeah, well, that's what the top has to do when you have a
Right.
bossy bottom. You just like, oh, whatever, fine. I'll do what you say. What song do you think he played on the piano while she stripped?
There's no way you know this.
No, I'm just thinking.
You know-
like what song would it have been?
I think he can only compose music while hookers are stripping. So I think that was an original.
Oh, that was I
concocted.
was hoping he played like the Sting.
Well, you know, it wasn't that.
I don't know.
right.
Did they
Well, you
show
heard-
the actual scene? I don't think they showed him actually
No,
playing.
what if he
I guess
played-
didn't. Oh, no.
What if
Chopstick?
he played Christina Aguilera's "Dirty" on the piano?
Oh, interesting. You know when you go? Have you
was
ever been in
our
the
song.
Magic Castle, Les?
Yes.
You know
Yes, I
how
have.
they have like the piano, and it's like the
piano,
quote unquote
yeah.
the ghost that plays it, and like whoever is behind that knows a bunch of contemporary songs. Like you could have the piano play like Eminem.
That's funny.
That's cool. And she was
So
stripping
this-
and playing.
So now
Playing,
Jack is starting to become a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's starting to become a problem, and the pimp is starting to get annoyed. Well, the pimp is getting annoyed anyway. And so the pimp, so Tori's starting to get mouthier.
Mm-hmm.
The pimp is getting annoyed, and now the pimp is like threatening, like, if you don't get it together, I'm gonna hurt your boyfriend. And so, is this the part where she tells Jack to like leave her alone?
Yeah, because he tells her, she's got to get rid of him. It's not a suggestion; it's an order. And the score of the movie was so intrusive at this point in the movie, very over the top.
Maybe that's the music that the maestro conducted. They
Well-
were using it now for the score.
So this is like we're now imagining what he saw.
Yeah.
Now, the next part coming up is my.
Well, you're losing
Yeah, you there, Les?
you're losing internet.
The next part coming up, because she was a no-show,
Yeah.
and the next part was my favorite part, her punishment.
Oh yeah.
What's the punishment?
It's fucked up what they did. Like honestly,
That was
fucked up.
hilarious.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because she was a no-show, and he was mad. So she gets in the limo, and the limo takes her to this motel on Hollywood Boulevard across the street from Hollywood High.
Yeah, like a super seedy motel.
Yes, It's still there.
Like not a place where a high-priced call girls would normally be conducting business.
Yeah, and if it looked gross, on that movie, it looks even grosser now.
Yeah.
And
magical place.
She goes to the door, and this disgusting guy answers the door.
Poor guy. Yeah. He's probably still standing there.
Oh my God!
People don't live there, Kurt. That they only do rooms by the hour there.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he was dirty.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had a tank top on that was totally dirty. He looked like he'd just finished eating like pork rinds or something. And she's all dressed up. She has like a bustier and like a scarf.
Is that and they didn't say this out loud, but was that the scarf that she was going to give her mother? It looks like it. Yeah.
Might as well use it. She already took the tag off.
Yeah.
And then I love that she refuses to sleep with him, and then the limo leaves her.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
Yeah. And like in 1996, I mean, it's kind of gotten bad again, but from 1996 until now-ish, Hollywood was like, it felt a lot safer. This is a time when Hollywood was not very safe. Yeah.
Like that place, like that area now, actually that part is safe because it's near the high school and stuff. And there's buildings.
There's encampments and stuff like every other corner there. Yeah.
Well, I never walk by there, just drive by there. There's buildings though, like there's nice buildings around there though now too though with the new construction.
Yeah.
And so she goes. So she calls Jack to come and she tries to get a hold of him to come and pick her up. So then I guess she makes her way back to the PCH.
Well, she got a cab. She flagged down a cab, which you never see driving through Hollywood.
No, not anymore. Back then, once again, there was no Uber. So
there was no Uber, but you didn't see cabs have never been widespread in the time I've lived here. I've only ever seen them like if you're leaving the airport. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like New York where they're just driving around.
Yeah, exactly. Other than the airport, you gotta. They don't come unless you call.
Yeah.
I loved it when she goes back and the guy tells her, "Go fix yourself." And then she's all, "I'm going to tell my mother." Like, what's your mom going to do?
Wait, so this guy in the motel, would he qualify as what one would call unfuckable?
Yes.
Okay. But also, I would describe him as eligible for a refund.
Well, that too. Well, but
he should leave a bad Yelp review.
But this was her punishment, though. So did he even pay, or was this just some gross dude?
I actually think she said something about, "We'll make sure you get a refund," didn't she? Yes, I legitimately think there was a line of dialogue about that.
Did. Yeah. Because the guy was like, "Wait, where are you going?"
We'll give you 20% off your next purchase.
He's like, "I've got a coupon."
But he could have at least taken a shower.
I was told this was a BOGO.
Well, if he took a shower, then he could get like a real girlfriend. He didn't, that he was trying to avoid this extra work.
Well, look, girlfriend, no girlfriend. That's immaterial to the business model of running an escort service.
Right.
I don't know.
So Tori's telling her pimp, "I'm going to tell my mother on you." And then the pimp is like, "You know what?" He pulls the gun out and he's like, you go get naked. Well, it didn't work out so well for him.
No.
Then Tori got her hands on the gun, and she shot the shit out of him.
Yeah.
In slow motion. 3 times.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah, that it was so dramatic that he should have been dead at that moment, especially with the way they were like using that white scarf as it just sort of dramatically fell to the floor.
Yes.
Blood on the door.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was it.
Yeah.
But he takes on a whole new tone now.
She shot him and then went on about her day.
Well, she had baguettes to make.
She had to go.
Yeah.
She had a test.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw her studying. She was catching up. She had to finish reading A Doll's House.
Say what you will about her, but she always went to class.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Yeah, like they never once actually depicted her ever missing class. The closest that it was implied that it could happen was when she had that 3 a.m. hookup with the first guy she fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. She always went to school.
She was trying to catch up. She had to see what happened to Dr. Rank in A Doll's House.
Right. Well, the cops showed up.
That could be the name of the guy in the motel, Dr. Rank.
Yeah.
Dr. Rank. He was Rank, that guy. So who called the cops on her, or they just showed up, right?
Well, they showed up on campus. She's arrested for attempted homicide because they play the 911 call or whatever, and apparently Ron himself called the police and blamed Joanna for shooting him in the call, like names her by name. Which I thought was weird because wouldn't she just turn him in for running a call girl service?
Right. He was her pimp, and he was threatening her, and he was threatening to attack her.
Yeah.
Right.
So it could have easily been self-defense.
But she lied.
Yeah, it made no sense why she would have lied in this moment. Like, lied about everything except the fact that she had been a call girl. Like, why would you fess up to that and not the thing that could actually set you free?
Right. So then now she goes to jail. And they have her in a jumpsuit and everything.
Yeah.
And I loved how they were catcalling her as she's walking through the jail.
Yeah, you always see that in like prison movies. I guess that's what that's what happens. You walk through a prison.
Yeah.
Right. She's getting catcalled.
Yeah.
You're catcalled and stuff like that.
Right. Exactly.
Unless you're covering your mic.
Sometimes we hear you're.
So then
the mother shows up.
She gets bailed out. But now she has a mean lawyer. He's very mean.
But he's doing his job. And she isn't helping him by lying to him. And he knows she's lying.
Yeah, he knows that she's going to get taken apart at the stand with those lies.
Yeah. This movie, as I was watching it's sort of a product of when there was much less diversity in casting, of just it being like middle-aged white guys having all the parts in the movie, because I had a hard time. At first I thought her lawyer was the professor guy from earlier. And a lot of the tricks she hooked up with, I couldn't tell if they were different characters or not.
They looked alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like,
was there a single person of color in this movie? I don't think so.
I think other than the prison, the jail.
Some of the extras in the prison.
So then she goes to court, and Ron shows up and testifies against her.
Yeah, I was surprised he was alive when he
has bullets. He still has a bullet in his head.
Alive and seemingly not even suffering a little bit.
He looked great.
The bullet was lodged in his head.
He was the first witness on the stand in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was still giving her pimp looks.
Yeah.
He's like, why aren't you hooking?
And then, so then she testifies, and then she ends up breaking down and telling the truth.
He said Ron made her feel beautiful. She'd felt empty.
Yeah. And she won the jury over because she was found not guilty.
Well, because they started nailing Ron for not paying his taxes. See, it all comes back to taxes, Kurt.
See?
But still, even though Ron didn't pay his taxes, wasn't Ron ending up getting away with all of it?
Away with what?
So he still could go out and be a pimp more.
Not now.
Well,
now they've nailed him. Because now they can use this verdict to go after him for these other crimes that they hadn't arrested anyone for.
And then it should flash to 10 years later.
Should have.
And Ron will be like, there's something called the internet. I think I'll try it.
30 years later, we can see what they're up to now.
I just love that, like, after Tori wins the case, she walks out of the courtroom hand in hand with her mom and Jack on either side of her. So they're all holding hands. And then Ron looks over at her, and instead of, like, sneering at her, being angry that she won and she got away with almost killing him, like, he gives her this knowing smile of, like, I'm proud of you, kid.
Right, I know, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Like, aw.
Well, she's kind of sneering at him. But he's giving a look. That's to indicate he's a sociopath.
Well, because he's looking at her like, you're going places. Wait till you get that degree. There'll be no stopping you then.
Yeah.
Joanna.
Now, what are the ethics? So okay. Now she is doing her residency. And here comes Ron. Now, Ron is rushed into the ER.
Define the phrase "doing her residency."
Well, there's a residency, and she's doing him.
Okay.
No, she's doing her residency, right? And she's working at like a late night in the ER. Here comes Ron. They're rushing him down. Now, what are the ethics?
She has to help him. Do no harm.
Yeah,
that's right. She has to help him.
To help him.
She's become famous from this case. Like the newspaper had coined her as the co-ed call girl. Imagine she's now a doctor, and you're like, wait, weren't you a call girl?
Was you Dr. Hooker?
But then she'd be a doctor at Grace Sloan Memorial, and then Meredith, she'd come in as a hooker, but then Meredith would help her out.
Yeah, Dr. Call Girl.
Yeah.
See, that's the series.
Dr. Call
Girl.
Would watch that series.
So it's both a medical procedural,
right,
and a prostitution case of the week.
And every day, like every week, you'd have a different hot John.
Yeah, she's saving lives and giving life.
Yes.
Well, she's a doctor and she's a hooker, or is she like a combination now? Okay.
Yeah, she's an accomplished surgeon and class A, like grade A lay.
I think it could be a real social commentary too, because trying to pay off your bills from medical school. Yeah, she's got a hook.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be she's paying off her student loans.
Yeah,
that's right. And so, and the message is, hey, if you don't want your daughters to be hookers, we've got to do something about these costs of schools. We have to, bring these costs down.
And then over time we're gonna find out that she actually wanted to become like a psychiatrist kind of doctor.
Right.
And as she deals with her clients, she's solving all their problems.
And then we'd have a special crossover event with Grey's Anatomy and Station 19.
What?
Is Station 19 even
Station
still
19?
On? It just ended last year.
Yeah. That was a spinoff of Grey's.
It was about firemen.
Oh, there's another fire show on. Fire is big.
Fire Country.
She could
something on CBS, yeah.
Les would know.
Or she could have a spinoff with, like, American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like this being in sort of like a real, in a reality setting.
Or she could have her own universe, the Call Girl universe.
Yeah.
Because then she could have a spinoff. So it's like she's a Dr. Call Girl, but then she could have a spinoff with her Call Girl friend.
Yeah. And she encourages them to go to medical school too. So then all women that are doctors are actually also hookers.
Or better yet,
that's how it eventually
she encourages her friends to become nurses, and her Call Girl friends become student nurses. And then we could have a show called Student Nurses. I'd watch.
I've lost the thread.
I question how progressive this is, though.
Our idea or this movie that we watched?
Our idea.
Oh, our idea is very problematic at this point. Is it? It is.
Well, yeah.
It went off the rails. They built new tracks, and we went off those too.
Yeah, it's getting to a point where it's not a good social commentary.
Well, no, there'll be a male nurse too, and he's a go-go dancer at Mickey's.
Oh,
I'll play that role.
The go-go dancer
with your
at
perfect
Mickey's?
Body. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
you do have the perfect body, Kurt.
That's what the masseuse said. Yeah, I eat some cookies today. I wouldn't have done that if I knew I was up for this role.
Wow. You're the one advocating for it.
Well, yes. I'll get myself in good shape in about a week.
Okay.
We're not shooting tonight. We're not shooting tonight. Not how it works in this business.
Well,
this business. Don't you hate people like they're kind of in show business? They're not really, but they're like, let me tell you how this business. Shut up with business. I'll give you the business. Okay.
Well, if you want to give me the business, you can find me on my website at leskirkendallbarrett.com or on Instagram at Kirkendall. Jason.
Please rate, review, subscribe, and follow our podcast. It helps more people find it. Whatever podcast you're listening to us on, that's a great place to do that. And give us 5 stars while you're at it. You can find us all on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast, and on TikTok at Lifetime of Hallmark Pod. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
I just like to congratulate myself for appearing on the Shelf Shedding Movie Podcast with a friend of the show, Jason DeBray.
What did you watch?
Before. We watched. I've mentioned this before. We did the underrated Martin Scorsese movies. So look up the Shelf Shedding Movie Podcast, and Oscar season will be coming early next year, and we'll be heavily into that. We'll be doing our podcasts on that.
Yes, everybody, remember, pay your SAG dues.
Yeah,
Screener time is just around the corner. Pay your dues.
Yeah, I'm paying my hundreds of dollars of dues so I can watch Conclave. Pinch me. I think I'm dreaming.
I paid my hundreds of dollars of dues so I can get copies of movies that I could probably already see with my AMC pass thing.
Well, I like going to the talkbacks.
I do like those, but I don't like waiting in line like I used to. Because sometimes it takes a while to get in those.
I can't go to those anymore.
I like going to the talkbacks, and especially like last year, I like going to the talkbacks that are parties, and like you get like the actors go out and mingle after for like the SAG Awards. So
I went to one. It was a party with that show with Jeffrey Tambor. What was that called? Enlightened?
Yeah. I remember
Not
that
Enlightened.
show.
Jeffrey Tambor and the woman from Who's the Boss. She
Transparent.
Was there. They're all like
Transparent.
Yeah, and there was like a party afterwards. They're all like hanging around.
And that was before he got canceled.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I can't believe like this is our busy season. Thanksgiving's in a couple of weeks. So rest up.
Christmas movies. I'm not looking forward to so many Christmas movies.
Isn't Lacey gonna have like a Christmas movie on Netflix or something?
She is. Yeah.
So we have to watch that because that's scandalous.
Yeah.
anyway, it's late for Kurt.
Yeah, but look, I don't know what happened to me. I got energy. I'm like Sting. When he gets
Look at
on
you.
stage.
Well, anyway, we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.